So, hey guys, today I want to make a deck based around one of the most interesting, somewhat-ish cards, I think, in Yu-Gi-Oh! So we have Cross Sheep. So Cross Sheep's effect is if a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, you can apply the following effects in sequence based on the card types of the monsters this card points to. So if there is a ritual, it would be draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Fusion, special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. Synchro, all monsters you control gain 700 attack. XYZ, all monsters your opponent controls lose 700 attack. So at most, you can only realistically activate 2 effects because there are only 2 arrows on Cross Sheep. So the goal here of this will be to have a somewhat decent, semi-consistent way to set up Cross Sheep and apply 2 of these effects. So I think the best effect in general might be the Fusion effect to special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. And then accompanying that, all of the other effects are pretty decent. So Ritual, draw 2, then discard 2 cards. That's kind of a mulligan. So this requires there to be in general good cards to send to the graveyard, or for you to have a decent amount of cards in hand. So if I have 4 cards and I am drawing 2 and then discarding 2, then if I were to draw 1 hand trap, I can discard 2 other cards that I don't care and retain the hand trap, right? If I have 0 cards at the time of activating Cross Sheep, then I will end with 0 cards after draw 2, discard 2. So no hand traps for me, I guess, right? So that this is a good effect in general, but not like good all the time. So like activating this on my opponent's turn, not necessarily that great. So I'd say Synchro is a little bit more like controllable, like XYZ, all monsters your opponent controls loses, they all lose 700 attack. Your opponent has more control over their monsters than yours, so my preferred 2, for this video at least, will be Fusion and Synchro. So we're going to try to have a Fusion monster and a Synchro monster, and I already have the 2 monsters in mind for Crush Sheep, or what I have in mind, yeah. So there are going to be a few small goals that we're going to need to achieve to get the setup like really done and really well rounded, I guess, right? So I think the most logical option that I'm thinking about right now is that we probably want to go through multiple fusions, at least on turn 1. Like afterwards, I don't think I care that much. But okay. Aside from that, it's just the synchro. I think we'll just probably stay on the field and kind of just sit there, like just sit there. Not a whole lot more to say about that. It will just be there somewhere. So one line we can do with Cross Sheep is that we could mess around with the Millennium cards, and the Millennium cards actually have decent synergy with Cross Sheep. So what we could do is, let's assume we have Sync Engine. Let's just throw in 3 of Sync Engine, I guess, and 3 of Golem, and then we have 1 of Wedju. So Wedju has the effect to place a monster from your hand in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous spell, then place 1 Millennium monster from your deck in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous spell. So this allows you to make Doom Dragon after just resolving this card in general, right? So if we were to start Sync Engine, it'll end up with, or Golem, it'll essentially resolve with me having a Golem plus Sync Engine on the field, and then we'll have Wedju plus a monster from my hand, and also either, it depends on your mood, I guess, you know? Are we putting a Golem from deck or a Sync Engine? Like, just whichever, I guess. So we can then use that to make the Doom Dragon, and then at this point in time, if we do make Doom Dragon, we'll have Sync Engine plus Golem. But if we were to link these 2 off, these monsters with 2 different names, we could make Cross Sheep, and then we can summon Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, and this allows us to trigger Cross Sheep's effect to reborn a guy. So overall, this allows you to already just make an Apollosa without normal summoning, which is something. I mean, you kind of gets there regardless, but we could do that, I suppose. So alright, Snake Eyes Doom Dragon. So let's say we're feeling pretty psychopathic, I guess we could have, I don't know, Rosin, for example, in the back. So we activate Wedju, put Rosin in the back row, special summon it off of Cross Sheep, and then we have on our field Rosin, Cross Sheep, and then Snake Eyes Doom Dragon. So honestly, this isn't even that good. But if we were to go for this line, we can actually just, well, yeah, it's really not that good because Link arrows and stuff. But if we had other fours in our graveyard, we could do like Rosin Search Borger, I guess. And then Borger adds back Rosin to your hand, special summoning Borger to trigger Cross Sheep again next turn. Like that's something you could technically do. I don't think this is like good, like at all, but technically as synergy in the fact that you can trigger Cross Sheep just continuously on your turn and your opponent's turn relatively consistently. So there's that. Not that like there's going to be anything in this case for you to really summon from the graveyard. And if we were to link off just the Rosin, yeah, that takes up one of the link arrows that Cross Sheep points to, and then we can't really summon anything there because we can't like we can't super easily get rid of the Vanquish Soul Link 1. So yeah, pretty annoying in that regard. But alright. So that's one idea that we could kind of use to kind of get into this stuff. Another small idea is that we could probably use some of the Azumina cards if we wanted to trigger the Cross Sheep as well. So you have Sylvia, and we have also Recielago or whatever. So let's assume we're going to just Terra Top or Cross Sheep. Sure, special summon Terra Top, special summon Tekatonborg, make Cross Sheep, and then we activate, I don't know, Deception of the Sinful Spoils here. And then, I don't know, what we would be tributing, we could do a similar play as to this, I guess. So Deception will tribute, I guess, for the sake of the example, we'll just use Rosin again. So we tribute Rosin from the hand, and then we can special summon Ricielago, and then Ricielago effect will allow us to, or not Ricielago effect, Ricielago would trigger Cross Sheep. And what's also interesting about Cross Sheep is we can technically use this to chain block certain effects. So in this case, Ricielago on summon is going to be able to add a Azumina or Sinful Spoils card from your deck to your hand. And then Cross Sheep can chain to that, and you can choose the order, I guess, right? So we can go like chain 1 Cross Sheep or chain 2 Cross Sheep if we want to chain block Ricielago. And this is more interesting if we have an effect like, let's say, I don't know, the first Dark Lord effect to destroy. So let's say we special summon the first Dark Lord, specifically fusion summon with this condition here, and summon this to a Cross Sheep zone, you know, chain link 1 first Dark Lord, chain link 2 Cross Sheep, and then destroy our opponent's everything. But even if we're not using like fusion as well, if it was already pointing to something that it lists here under Cross Sheep, we could trigger an effect and kind of chain block it. So let's see, what would that be? It could be like genuinely anything, it just has to be specifically a special summon, right? So we could do, for example, I guess, let's assume our opponent here has a monster negate then. So let's go with, I don't know, Crystal Wing. So let's say our opponent has Crystal Wing here, but we have like fusion deployment plus Cross Sheep. We can fusion deploy a Fallen of Albaz, and then put that in a Cross Sheep zone, assuming we have like a fusion in the zone as well. We can go chain link 1 Fallen of Albaz, chain link 2 Cross Sheep. So this chain link blocks for your plays, like just in general. That's something it could do, which is neat. And then it's kind of small here, but if we actually boost this twice with the synchro effect, this would put us at 2100, which for the most part can't be beat over by a normal summon. So that's also kind of neat. So that is a goal we're going to have, essentially, or eventually. So all right, we could technically utilize this as well, and Diabellstar and that like Azumina package in general won't really require us to, I guess, that would be playing probably Snake Eye then, which I'm not sure if I'm a fan of, but free summons does not require our normal summon. So that's interesting in that regard. And also Ilias Sylvia, we could summon this like essentially every turn, I guess, more or less, by recycling Hallowed Azumina and also the Azumina continuous spell over and over again. We could just do that kind of every single turn. But after a certain point, I don't think it super matters. So I mean, my preferred target might be like Snake Eye Zoom Dragon. We'll see. So I'm thinking right now that about Crush Heap. So Crush Heap needs to specifically be summoned to the extra monster zone. So it would be fine to link summon before making Crush Heap. We just have to be aware that whatever we're link summoning would be kind of linked off later. So just any link monster would be fine. Or if we could technically move a monster from the EMZ to a main monster zone, that would be also decent. Assuming that's a link monster we're talking about moving, right? So the play I have in mind, like the end result I'm thinking about right now is I want specifically, I think Chengying would be really good. Or like a Dispatter. One of the two or both. And we're going to have those as preferably one of Crush Heap's zones. And I think my preference right now is going to be Chengying, and then if we can make a Dispatter later, we can just cycle stuff and kind of like recycle stuff maybe. That would maybe require us to run Pistols, so Dispatter is like a maybe right now for me. And I want Chengying probably for sure. And then I'm thinking of pairing it with probably like DPE. So a Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. And the best and easiest way to consistently make DP is just to simply drop a Verte, I guess. So this is kind of a small issue though. So if I were to go Verte, summon DP, I cannot trigger Crush Heap's effect right here to special summon a guy from the graveyard because I cannot special summon because of Verte. And also, there's the issue that this is a link monster, right? So if I were to special summon Crush Heap and then special summon a Verte here, then I don't really have that many open zones for Crush Heap. I only have the one where Crush Heap is pointing maybe this way to, presumably, I guess in this case, Chengying. So that is not great, to say the least, right? So the idea for at least the first turn is that we're going to actually end up summoning Verte during like the end of the turn at some point. This shouldn't matter too much when that happens, but that means we need to summon some other fusion monster before DPE. But yeah, the main thing here is that if we do have Chengying plus DPE, Chengying is going to be absolutely massive. So every single time we want to trigger Chengying, we can do so by doing DP to pop like Chengying plus itself, or we can do DP to pop Chengying plus another guy. Well, just whatever happens to work at whatever timing, right? And if we of course pop DP will be special summoning itself like every single turn, therefore triggering Crush Heap. So we have that idea. If we're just intent on triggering Crush Heap, we can just pop DP plus whatever card. Or we could do DP plus Chengying and then have Chengying protect itself if we just wanted to get DP into the graveyard, right? And we could just do that like pretty much forever. But either way, yeah, DP special summon itself, trigger Crush Heap effect for Synchro and the fusion effect. Now we just really want targets for this, really. And the first time we're triggering this though, it probably won't be with DP because we're going to be summoning DP off of presumably Verte, so we're going to need to summon something else. And that fusion monster could just genuinely be just about anything. An easy one that we could easily do, I guess, is maybe Necroquip. Let's see. What even is this card? Necroquip Prism? Huh. Target a level 4 lore monster and your special summon one monster from your hand with an equal or lower level than that target, then equip that target to it. But for the rest of this turn, you cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with the same name as that equipped card while a monster is equipped to the summoned monster by this effect. It gains attack equal to half the attack of that equipped monster. Okay. Necroquip Princess. One monster equipped with a monster card plus one Fiend monster card. Okay. Probably not going to do anything with that then. So let's see. In terms of fusions, we could convert, I guess, any Link 2 kinda into. This would require some extra deck space, but we could convert to Moon, Requiem, Necroquip, and then that would trigger Crush Sheep. But it doesn't really do much more than that, so it's not that efficient. So I'm thinking maybe we could use Punk for this. Punk, logical enough. But main issue is just making Cross Sheep, I guess. That's kind of problematic. And also, these are somewhat decent targets to bring back. They're not like necessarily the best thing because the effects are Ignition and not Trigger. So that's probably the big thing here. We do have a fusion with Rising Carp though, which is nice. And you also have like E-Telly and stuff, and Foxy Tune, right? Also, Deer Note is pretty good as well. Aside from that, not super good. So, we also do want to make Verte. So the play would likely be, we have to make some sort of Link monster and then Verte, and then we need to link off this original Link monster for Cross Sheep if we are going to make Verte. So Verte will be summoned like maybe to the leftmost zone, and then rightmost or the right EMZ will summon like Cross Sheep, I guess, and then we can put Chenging maybe in the middle. That's probably what I'm thinking. And of course, we also have to synchro summon whilst doing like everything else. So I'm thinking 2-card combo territory, perhaps. Okay. Surely manageable. Let's see. So we're going to need to perform at least 4 summons, I think. So at minimum, we'll have like a Link 1, but it probably won't be a Link 1, it'll probably be a Link 2. And then we'll summon Verte, so that's like 2 more monsters, and then it'll be like 4 or 5 monsters. Last one, Crush Sheep, kinda, right? Over here. And then we still need summon like presumably a fusion, plus I guess Chenging. So I guess we should start with working out how we're going to summon Chenging. So easy way we could kinda do this is just to Unga Bunga Snake Eye it, but I think that's kind of boring. You know, Asmia Snake Eye does give you access to like Jet, and then you go like Formula, and then you'd make Chenging Formula plus like Flamberge or something probably. And I think they'll probably get there, right? And you can also technically maybe make like a Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, or like go through the Asamina cards, and that'll uh, get you here as well. But alright, starting small. We'll work on the Link stuff later. So to synchro summon Chenging, we need levels 5+5 or 6+4 or 2+8. 2+8, I think, might be more reasonable. I'm not 100% sure. Or we can go for 4+6. So in terms of 4-6, is there a good way to do 4-6? Well, we could technically also do some shenanigans with like 6+2 and abusing like Sprite Elf potentially to make the Changing. Alright, let's see. The most interesting way I think that we can do this is maybe with Vendread. Vendread also has a link to with the Savior. So we'll try doing this with Vendread. Okay, so we'll cut the Millennium stuff for the time being, and we'll work this out. So let's remove these two, and this, and we'll just keep this for now. So, let's go through this line and make sure I have this right. So, I think the first thing we want to do for this line is we're going to want normal summon Diviner, and we'll also need one more card, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is, so pre-prep. If we go ahead and pre-prep here, we can pre-prep to add some Vendroid cards. So this is going to be a 2-card combo, I think. So normal summon Diviner, sending Herald of the Orange Light. Herald is going to add for our deck to hand whatever we happen to need, I guess. So in this case, I'm thinking of going add Origin, add Slayer, add Slayer. So tribute Slayer for Slayer with Origin. Then here we can make, I guess it'll be, well, we're lacking fusion right now, actually. Is this really the play to be making? I'm not feeling certain anymore. All right, let's change. I'm not really feeling it anymore here. I mean, this can get to Synchro, right? And this can get to Crunchy, but getting to the fusion. If we don't do this on the first turn, what's the point? Yeah. This gets there, I think, though. We could make, like, a Tzolk'in with that play, and then that would get to Crystal Wing. If we wanted to do that, that would be an okay play, I guess. But no, alright. I think you can make Baron as well. So how do you make Baron again? I don't remember. Diviner is like a level 2. You end up making, if I recall correctly, like Roll Savage plus Baron. Just in general, so I was thinking about this, and yeah, we could do the Verte stuff, but we don't have a fusion on turn 1, aside from DPE, so not that big of a fan of this line in particular, although your whole field will be not targetable as well, which is neat. So, alright, let's change it up then. Okay. So, starting over. Let's try Centurion. So Centurion, we can't one card into any 10s, but we do have Synchro Force here. And maybe there's some shenanigans we can do with this. I guess this gets us into Dispatter technically, which I think we can be happy about. So we'll go with this for now then. I'm not sure if we really want these guys, so we'll leave them be for now. And then I think at minimum we want to run something like this. We don't need this. We can grab copies of Trudea, whatever. Something like this is probably okay. And then the line, we just need to force a few extra bodies. So how do we force some bodies here? We just need a bunch of bodies. How about this? How does this work? Or no. What was the name of that Blackwing again? I think it was like Steam the Cloak, right? Recently unbanned. There are so many Blackwings, I don't think I can find it. Alright, Steam. If this face-up card leaves the field, special summon a Steam token. This card is in the graveyard, tribute 1 monster, special summon this card from your graveyard. I think this can link climb pretty hard, but I don't know if this is actually worth it. Preferably we want another engine that can special summon. Oh, wait a second. Ah. And we want targets to kind of bring back as well, right? Oh. Now this is Psycho. What if we went ahead and did Memento? That's just a matter of checking if we have a level 6 in Memento. If there is a level 6, we can go with this. If there isn't, we're not going with this because we can't make Cheng Ying. Sadly, no. Alright. we want a deck that can put, preferably, I don't know if I care if it requires the normal summon because Centurion doesn't require normal summon and can be used like whenever. So we just need some kind of level 6 monster on the field. Now, I mean, I guess we could do Fiendsmith technically because level 6s, right? Hmm. Yeah, we could do that to make Changing. And then technically also Disbatter. Do we have to though? I guess we'll go with this for now. So if we were to do this, we could also crush you bring back like Chimera and Tradea because it's not like a pendulum deck, for example. So we can do this. And then I guess there's no point in playing this many copies of Crush Heap. We do need the bodies for like a Verte technically as well. Whatever then. We'll throw in an Applause for fun. Can't think of a much better way to go about this, honestly. And this also helps with the fusion issue and the level 6 issue. So yeah, it's either this or Azamina really. Pick one of the two. So I guess we'll go with this, I guess. So Lurie. And then I don't know, we'll put in the Millennium cards because those can put in some work. We can technically also mill one of these guys and special summon them off of like the zombie vampire or something. I know something like this would be fine, I guess. And we have like a decent amount of monsters for that effect as well, I guess. So the main line that we're going to start with here is probably just to put some guys on the field, right? And then if we do Wake Up, the line with Wake Up, we can send Phalanx. And then that means we'll be able to link off potentially Auxilla. And then if we link off the Auxilla, this would allow us to make Crush Heap. That's what I'm thinking about, really. Very simple stuff, I guess. And it just gets there eventually. If we just do a test hand real quick, it's probably going to be fine. Golem effect. Go through all this. We have Snake Eyes Doom Dragon plus 2 bodies. We can go through like most of the Fiendsmith combo. Summoning Lacrima sequence. Go through all that. I think we can just leave Lacrima in like a middle zone. We could we summon Verte and then summon Crush Heap with the sequence? I think we could do that, right? And then afterwards, here with this line in particular, we can add back the Engraver, pitch Lurie, and also that sends Engraver to the graveyard from hand. 2 extra bodies. So we can make Verte first, and then make Crush Heap, I think. And then Crush Heap can trigger to special summon a guy back. Next case, we have Primera to normal summon. So we could technically also do Synchro Summon to Changing here. And then special summon back Primera, and then activate Primera effect. It has to be done in like a weird sequence. Maybe we should just rework this idea entirely, kind of overhaul it, but main thing I do want to do for sure is I want this little trinity of EP, Changing, and also Crush Heap. I'm pretty sure I don't want to give up on that in particular, because we will, funnily enough, end up with like a really chunky Changing and a really chunky Crush Heap. So, yeah, this might need some more cooking. And I don't like the entirety of this line right now. If we were to run Pistols instead with Chaos Space, would we have enough bodies to get through this as a 2 card? I'm not sure. Otherwise, right? this is something I would want to set up turn one and not like on a later turn, because that's just a little bit goofy, in my opinion. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today for now. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.